Is the camera working? Is it on? I'm trying to get all my trash and everything out there. It's gonna be my next ghost story while I get ready to go inside. It's another work day. So I'm gonna have to edit all of this and put the pictures in so you can see everything. And let me just take a quick swallow of water because I'm in a rush. That's better. So anyway, today's story is going to be about the time I lived in Orlando, Florida. And I did say Orlando, Florida. Those who live there know why we call it that. And I was still working at Disney, but whenever I would have time off, I would travel literally 2 hours to St. Augustine, Florida, because I wanted to see some historical points of interest, learn a little bit about the oldest city in America, or the oldest town in America, however they call it. And it kind of dates back to the Trail of Tears, you know, and all of that. If you wanted to Google it all and get all the historical details of the fort and what its purpose was and all of that, let your fingers do the walking. It's just like full of history and the shaping of this country from its true beginnings, which a lot of people are trying to erase in 2024. But that's not what this is about. This is about my first time going there and actually feeling the presence of spirits and stuff at the historical points of interest in St. Augustine. So at the fort, when you first go inside, it's like, you know, a smell. Like it smells very old, like a damp smell. I can't explain it, like mildew. I would just say mildew. And if you know what mildew and brick and stuff like that smells like, it has that smell. Now, mind you, the fort sits on the Gulf. Like it's right on the beach. It's right, boom, like in the water. And the inlet. And so it's a damp smell when you first go in. And the damp smell, I think, also triggered like what I was feeling about the things that I start to experience. So once I got inside, there's like, when you first go in, there's like a bookstore to your left that you can go in, like a souvenir shop, I guess. And it's a part of the actual fort. Like it's a little building, like a little room you can go in. And when you go in there, it's not that big. It's kind of small. It's enough for, like, I would say, a handful of people to go in, trail in and trail out and grab a few things. But there's definitely, energy inside being in there. Like it feels stuffy, I guess is the way I'm thinking. And it also has a weird smell to it because it's got wood and old fixtures and stuff like that in there. And I remember just going in there. It's like, oh, it feels awfully crowded in here, but there's just, a handful of people in here. But why does it feel so stuffy? Like you feel like you're not alone. So as I was going through the fort, there's lots of little rooms and things that you can walk in and out of. And, I'm 5'7", at that time, I don't even know if my weight was half this, but like I was 170 pounds or something like that. I would just take it down a little bit. I wasn't that big. I was like maybe 140 pounds. And those rooms felt extremely small to me. And so, going into those little rooms, it just felt uncomfortable. And then the smell of those rooms smelled uncomfortable. So it was just triggering my sensories all over the place. Like the hair started to stand up on my skin. And I didn't know why. I was like, why does this place feel so creepy to me? I said, it's just a fort. It's got historical. This is where battles and things took place. They were shooting cannons off the top of the deck and all this kind of thing. So it was just weird. Like the whole experience inside that fort. At one point, I went into this they were like little holding cells for prisoners. And they were like it's almost like being in a closet that's too small for, like, I would say a dog, like a big dog. And that's what it felt like. Like it was, like I had to cramp my body down just to fit in that hole. And there was like several people could be in this hole at one time. I'm like, well, what were these like little tiny people? Like what the hell? But it was like all brick. It was made like, very old. It had a very damp smell. The wood had a really weird smell to it. And I just started to feel scared. Like I was like, what the hell is going on? Like there's something else going on that made me feel like I'm not alone. And I could never put my finger on it. Well, I didn't know anything about, ghosts and haunts and stuff like that until I got to the downtown area. So after I left the fort, I was by myself too, by the way. The first time I went by myself, and then I started taking everybody I could get to go with me who would want to take that long drive over there. And then of course we just have to make a whole day trip out of it. Like we do all the touristy stuff and then go to the beach right before we leave, go hang out at the beach for a little while and then go home, because it was the Gulf side of Florida, if you know, like Daytona and all that side, the water's murky and dirty. You can't see anything. It's lots of shells, unless you like collecting seashells and stuff like that. You're stepping on shells and everything. So it gave very much that on their side of the beach. And the water's very turbulent. It's not, all cutesy, and you can see your feet at the bottom through the water and see cute little, colorful fish. It's nothing like that. You can't see nothing. It's dirty, murky, and very turbulent tides and stuff like that. But it's the beach still, so, people enjoy it. Well, after I left the fort, I went over the bridge, and then I went on over to see the lighthouse. And when I got to the lighthouse, I definitely, upon entrance, started feeling some type of like weird energies and scares and haunts and stuff. And, I was just trying to find a little bit more about, the historical side of it and everything like that at the time. And I didn't think anything about it, but I didn't stick around that tower for very long because that lighthouse was very creepy. And I had never really seen a lighthouse. Like, I've seen them on TV and stuff like that, so I can honestly say that was probably the first lighthouse I'd ever seen before in my life, and it was scary. And I didn't know why it was scary until I went to the next historical point, which was this. I don't have a picture of it because I can't remember the name of this. It's like a fort, another fort, but it wasn't like it wasn't big like that. It was just like an entry, like, type thing. I just can't think of the name of it, but I went and drove and saw that, and it was scary as hell too. Now, when I returned back over from all, kind of doing a little loop around, I went back to where the fort was, and there's like a little downtown area of St. Augustine that you can go and hang out. It's right around by the university because there's a school right on the property as well. It kind of all blends in together with these little red roofs and all this kind of, terracotta and very old. Everything's very old and very much, old cementy and very like a quaint little town. And you can see in the images, like, you can go walking around and stuff, but when you're going in and out of those shops, you're not by yourself, baby. It's just creepy. It's scary. It's creepy. And it's daytime. So there's people around, actors and performers, street performers and stuff like that. So it's very entertaining, but there's just something about going into, like, in and out of little shops and stuff around there that makes you definitely feel like it's haunted. And then after I had been going to some of the shops and stuff, I started to hear people say, "Are you going to go on the ghost tour?" And I was like, "Ghost tour? Hell no, I'm not going on no ghost tour with nobody." And so I ended up skipping out on that because I was already like not wanting to take any ghosts home with me. But I definitely was intrigued by the feel of, something feels like it's walking with you or whatever. And then come to find out, as I walked further down, there was a cemetery that was on around the side of the fort, past the little shopping areas. And you can see the little cemetery plots and stuff that were very predate back to the beginning of that little town. That was their little gravesite. And I'm sure it was full of stories and haunts and all kinds of things. But I definitely recommend anybody who are ever intrigued or want to experience a ghost hunt or have an experience, I would go there. That is the place to go, because it is like times 10. Like, you're going to have an experience of some sort, and you don't know when it's going to happen. You might just turn a corner and you can feel it or see it, or I don't know. But every time I went and took people there, everybody who went with me were like, "Bitch, this place is creepy as hell." And I was like, "Can you feel like it's like we got to get the hell out of here before it gets dark?" I would leave before nighttime. I was not trying to stick around at night because we had been hearing stories from the people who work around there that, stuff be happening, books getting moved, stuff on the floor, stuff like that, hearing noises, people screaming, all kinds of stories you can hear from the local people. So after you've already experienced it and you start talking to the local people, then you start to realize, oh yeah, this place is haunted, like for real. So I hope you guys enjoyed my short little story about my experiences in St. Augustine, Florida. I do recommend everybody to go there, learn about your history. There's a lot to talk about on that front, but it's also a ghost town. So I'm just going to leave it at that. You do your research and tell me what you find out. If you like my video, give it a thumb up, and please follow me on YouTube. It's Princess Ariel M. I post over there as well. And I'm on Instagram, Tu Mundo de Serena, or Princess Ariel M. You'll find me there as well. So you guys have a wonderful, what is it called? Valentine? No, St. Patrick's Day. Sorry. Bye.